Here are the 2014 demographic data for Denver, Jeffco, and Jeffco schools. 72% of kids in Denver qualify for free and reduced lunch, or FRL, a measure of poverty. In contrast, only 12% of kids in Jeffco qualify for free and reduced lunch. The differences in the percentage of kids in poverty is the largest demographic difference between these districts. In the video, Demographics Matter, we show the strong correlation between free and reduced lunch levels and test scores in these districts. As the percentage of free and reduced lunch goes down, scores go up. Why is this? These are aggregated scores. The Colorado Department of Education reports average scores based on an aggregate or grouping of kids. Scores for individual kids are never reported to protect their privacy. The CDE reports average scores for different groups of kids. For example, a group could be all elementary kids in a district, or all kids who qualify for free and reduced lunch in grade 7 of a school. Imagine a baseball team's batting average. 6 out of 9 have averages of .250 or higher. 4 out of 9 have averages of .300 or higher. Yet, the team average is pretty low, .233. What's happening? Look at the bottom 3 batting averages. Now look at the number of at-bats. Over half of the at-bats, 495, were taken by these 3 hitters. Their low averages combined the large number of at-bats are lowering the team average substantially. This is similar to what's happening with test scores. Schools with higher free and reduced lunch rates are pushing down the overall district average. Poverty and zip code strongly impact district performance. District test scores are an average of scores from all kids in a district, every kid who took the test. But different groups of kids on average score vary differently. For example, special education students on average score very low, and gifted kids on average score very high. The aggregate score depends on the proportion of groups of kids that score high and the proportion of groups of kids who score low. We can separate kids into 2 groups: kids who qualify for free and reduced lunch and kids who do not. Kids in poverty, on average, score much lower than kids not in poverty. This occurs in all districts in Colorado. In fact, this occurs nationwide and in every country. Studies show kids in poverty do not lack ability, but they face significant socioeconomic hurdles to achievement. Districts or schools with more free and reduced lunch kids will on average have more kids with low scores, and overall average scores will be lower. Here are the 2014 test score and enrollment data for Denver, Jeffco, and Jeffco. Denver has nearly 62,000 kids in poverty, nearly the same number of all kids in Jeffco. Jeffco has only 8,000 kids in poverty. Jeffco has nearly 3.5 times as many kids in poverty as Jeffco, with roughly equal number of kids not in poverty. Because free and reduced lunch kids score much lower than non-free and reduced lunch kids, the proportion of free and reduced lunch kids has a huge impact on the overall average score. Notice how the score for reading in Denver is very close to the average score for free and reduced lunch kids in Denver. The score for Jeffco is very close to the average score for non-free and reduced lunch kids in Jeffco. Jeffco scores are midway between free and reduced lunch and non-free and reduced lunch average scores. Here is some simple math to illustrate. 28% of Denver kids score on average 80.4%, and 72% of Denver kids score on average 44%. The average score for Denver is 54%. We can do the same calculation for Jeffco and Jeffco. The percentage of free and reduced lunch kids in a school is the strongest predictor of the average test score for that school. How confident are we in that correlation? Here are the statistical measures for the correlations in these districts. What do these values mean? They mean we are 99.9% confident that free and reduced lunch percentage predicts a school's performance score in reading, writing, and math.